Doesn't it look great just having the Whalers on the ice? Look at our guys all happy and whatnot. Ah, it's an ominous clicking sound. All around, that's kind of crap. But it do be an EA game. Yeah, I want to play hockey, guys. I like hockey. Blah, 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 blah. How is everyone? Which right now is Sexy Enraged Human Yeet. I think I might just shorten that to Yeet for a while. You're good? You're good? That's good. I am so excited. I've been working on this in the background for... Oh, yeah? Great. Yeah, I love hockey too. Racing, hockey, and I think you came in on the Mario streams, right? Like, I like Mario too. Race cars are my summer sport. Hockey is my winter sport. There, I can get a full, complete thought out of my head. I am super excited to do this. I've been in the background just kind of tinkering with this ever since NHL 24 came out. I have created, and I put up a video on EtherxSocial today, kind of explaining in depth. But in the game, you can have a franchise mode, and you can expand the NHL by up to 48 teams. You can actually, you know, swap out all the teams for different teams. But I kept the NHL the same. It's a love-hate with the EA NHL games, isn't it? But, okay, so what I've done here is created... I'm just going to recap this real quickly. If you want an in-depth thing, go check out EtherxSocial on YouTube for a more in-depth thing of how I got the rosters and all. But basically, I raided the European leagues and boosted the player stats so that they're almost basically NHLers. But I've brought Halifax, Hamilton, Quebec, Hartford, of course, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Birmingham, Virginia, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Austin, Houston, Portland. Is that the only one here? Yeah, Portland. And San Diego and Utah. I've brought them into the NHL. Let's go Habs. Ooh, see, in real life, I'm a St. Louis Blues fan. So actually, there's not. I don't think there's any bad blood between our two teams. You've got Jake Allen now. I really like Jake Allen. Kind of miss him. It was nice having a goaltender that was mentally stable. I also love Benner, but yeah, Jake Allen. Thoughts on Vladdy Daddy, Mr. Tarasenko? You can call me Nifty. No, it was a comment on Jordan Bennington. I missed because he's kind of sometimes unhinged. Right, yeah. No, Carey Price is one of the best of all time, and is he Price? Is he injured still? I don't know what his status is. I know he's been injured for a long time. Now that is a debate. You can make a whole video on that. Where was I here? Anyway, brought in a bunch of teams into the league for this, and I boosted players from Europe. And we're starting out kind of rough here. And I've also got minor league teams that I've created in the AHL, which is why we're going to do some roster moves. I've uploaded this. I have an Xbox One, not the newest generation, the last generation console. So I uploaded these rosters to shared rosters, but I think you can only get it if you're on the last gen Xbox. But regardless, if you want. The reason I did it this way, though, was so this is a combination of an SHL team and a Finnish Liga team, I think. And then the other one is a combination of the Czech League and the Swiss National League, I think. Anyway, the reason I did that is that if you download these rosters, you can mix and match which ones you want to be in the majors and which one you want to be in the minors. But we are the Hartford Whalers. Our minor league team is, yes, I do play with Fog of War, although I must say I'm very inexperienced. Our minor league team is the Peoria Rivermen. As a Blues fan, Peoria was their minor league affiliate for ages and ages, and so I just associate Peoria with sending people down to. So if they were a particularly good player, I gave them a salary and like a amount of years. But otherwise, I just let it do the default lowest one, and everybody's got a 1-year contract. So next year is going to be kind of cap hell, maybe. You can't stand Fog of War. See, gosh, the last time I really went whole hog at an NHL game was probably like NHL 20. And then after that, I've only kind of flirted with them, like when they would come up on EA Pass or whatever it was, because I had that for a time. Any dang way. We're going to bring up as many good players as we can. These teams are not good that I created, and it was kind of intentional. Like, well, once we start laying out the lines, you'll see what I'm talking about. But they're not particularly great. And the point is that you have a team that can play in the NHL, but they're not going to be setting the NHL world on fire. And that's the point. You got to manage it, right? Let's do that. This is day 1, by the way. And then I think the first thing we're going to do is look on free agency and see what is there for us. What numbers are we looking at here? 75, 75, 77. Can I beat that in Peoria? Yes, I can. But then after that, not so much. Okay. Right, exactly. That's what I wanted, because these are all players from the European teams. All the new teams have Euro players. And I boosted their stats. I boosted each attribute of each forward 4 points, each defenseman 6 points, and each goaltender 3 points, which gave them a overall of forwards went up 7 overall better, defensemen went up 9 overall better, and goaltenders went up 4 overall better. I think that's how that the math worked there. Yeah, literally, I bought this game on release, and this is almost entirely what I've been doing with the game, is just setting this all up. And I did it. I also checked to make sure that if edit the lines. Yeah, if there's a prospect over in Europe that has NHL rights. So, for example, the Blues had I'm drawing a blank, but okay, they have a prospect on one of the Swedish teams, although they don't. He came over to the WHL, but he starts the season over in the SHL. They do have Snuggerud. Jeez. But no. It's not Dvorsky, is it? Is that the name? Anyway, my point... Yeah, Dvorsky. Okay, yeah. My point is that the Blues still own him. Whatever team he would have gone to in my system that I worked out, like if he would have been brought into Hartford, he's not on Hartford because the Blues own his rights. The Blues still own his rights in this franchise mode. I made sure all that stayed fair, right? These are just the guys who didn't have... Yeah, okay, you get what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but... okay, let's just... Here. Head coach preferred lines, and then we'll kind of look at your work. Yeah, see, I mean, we've got like one, maybe first line player, and then we got a bunch of other stuff, which is good to build around, but we're gonna have to be creative. And you guys, Sexy Enraged Human Yeet and others, are gonna help me, because like I said, it's been a long time since I really dove in deep to an NHL game, and I'm not gonna know a lot of the ins and outs. Yeah, on some of them I did, like if it was a 30-year-old, I might not have, right? But if it was a younger player, I did, like Berglund here, top 6D. I'm sure he wasn't that well. Yeah, if he went up 9 points, he was a 71 overall, so his potential would not have been a top 4, right? Like, I mean, yeah, it should have been. But if they're like an old guy, not so much. And I did kind of play loosey-goosey. If I recognized a name, I might have given them a couple of extra points. Like, for example, Jaromir Jagr is here. He's playing for Utah, and he's much better than... the trade values aren't going to be good. Yeah, Jagr's here. Jagr is here. He is in the building. And whatever his math came out to as far as, like, overall, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna bump it up a few more because he's freaking Jaromir Jagr, right? Like, just, yeah, you know what I mean? Just like, I had a little fun with it too. I do have a list of, I was also kind of reading the internet, combing through things on like, what do people do for like rules to make franchise mode more fun for themselves. And so like I've got this whole list of rules here, which I'll read off. So follow me here. Tell me if any of these sound ridiculous or not ridiculous enough. Every day in the game, I have a timer, which is right here. And this is how long I get in the trade menu, right? So after 2 minutes, I have to exit the trade menu. I can't try to make any more trades. I got to get them all done on that day in 2 minutes, or I just got to go to the next day. Okay. I cannot, next rule, same with free agency, by the way, but I don't know that that's really going to matter that much, but we'll reset the timer for free agency just to, you know, not do that. I can't, next rule, I can't try to trade with the same team more than twice in 1 week. So I can't ring up the New York Rangers on Monday and then on Tuesday and then on Wednesday and then on Thursday and then on Friday, right? Like, no. That would piss off a real life manager, right? Like, I get to call him twice a week. Now I can do other teams, right? Like I could call a different team every day of the week, but no more than twice a week for the same team. I'm not allowed to trade players that have been acquired within the last 5 months. And I'll try to keep track of that in this document here. The trade deadline and the entry draft are the exceptions to those rules. So because there's a in-game system for those days, the rules don't apply. I can trade anybody and everybody anywhere and everywhere if I want. Last 5 months, what would you do? Longer or shorter, or just get rid of it? Because, like, you can sign a bunch of free agents and then immediately turn around and trade them. And, yeah, is that realistic, though? Like, in real life? I can't think of a time that's really happened. I can reduce it. I can say 3 months instead of 5 months. That'd be easier to keep track of. Probably. And the reason I said 5 months was just how I was doing it in my head. I'm like, if you signed somebody in at the start of the year, and then by the time you're at the trade deadline or like the week before, you're thinking about like, okay, am I going to move it? Do I need to move people out? Do I need to bring people in? That kind of thing. And so that's where you would see a player like that move. The rules are totally in flux, right? We can start this and then it's like, whoa, this is way too hard. Or man, I'm totally gaming the system and change things too. To all of that, the trade deadline and the entry draft are the absolute exceptions to those rules. So because the game has an in-game system and all of that. And I do have a couple of other rules for that. When signing a player, I'm gonna keep track of this too. When you go to negotiate with a player, there's a screen that says he's requesting, say, $6 million. Okay. If I sign that player at $6 million, give him what he wants, that player has a 24-team no trade clause, which means I cannot trade him to the bottom 24 teams in the league in the standings. And that's just to kind of, make it a little harder for me there. If I sign that player 10% below his asking price, so if he asks for $6 million and I can negotiate him down to a $5.4 million deal, he's taking a discount on the pay. He gets, 5.4, 20%. That would be 20%, not 10%. But, okay, so if he takes a 20% pay cut, right? No, I can't do math. 10%. Yeah, 10% of 6 million would be 600,000, which would be 5.4. Yes, okay, I was right the first time. So, yeah, see, you need to help me. Assistant GMs. You all are assistant GMs because I'm an idiot. Okay, okay, let's start over with that one. If he asks for 6 million and we get him down to 5.4 million, he has a full no trade clause. Okay, that is, I can't trade him. That's documented. He lives out the length of that contract in Hartford. If I now go the reverse of that, if he asks for $6 million, $6 million, and I pay him $6.6 million, I can trade him anywhere at any time. So there is no trade clause. I'm buying that back from him. Right, the ability to move him. So 10% below, he's got a full no trade clause. At the price he asks for, he's got a half the league trade clause. And above the price he asked for, he's got nothing. And I can move him whenever and wherever I want. That's that rule. And then this is the last kind of management rule I have, which is if a player is on the last year of their contract, they may be traded at deadline day, even if they have a no trade clause, if the team being traded to is ahead of Hartford in the playoff picture. So basically, if Hartford is a seller and this old guy has 1 year left on his contract, even if he had a no trade clause, I can still move him because he would want to go for a cup, right? Like, that's pretty standard for hockey. Like, that's a rental contract situation. And that's it. Those are the rules I have for that. The other thing, the procedure thing I'm going to do here is I'm not just going to simulate games, just go week at a time. Every game, I'm going to simulate the first and second period, and then I will play the third period. And I'm not particularly good at gameplay. And unless it's a blowout one way or the other. So if it's like 7-0 and it doesn't matter if I play, then I'm just gonna keep going. But if it's like a tight game, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I looked up some gameplay sliders from what is that big EA Sports forum out there? 4 goal difference, 3 goal difference. Yeah, somewhere in there. I'd say a greater than 2 goal difference. Yeah, 3 goal difference is a blowout. 4 goal difference is for sure a blowout. Like, I'm not going to try if it's 4 or more, but if it's 3 or more, I might, maybe I'll jump in if I want to. And yeah, I can totally break that rule anytime I want. If I feel like playing a game, I'm not going to like handcuff myself and be like, no. But ideally, the idea is the team that I build has more input on where they end up in the standings than I do, because they're playing 66% of the games and I'm playing at most 33% of the games, right? So I can't just take a garbage team, set it to rookie mode, and win the Stanley Cup, right? That's it. Those are all the rules I have for myself. On All-Star, and I can show you my sliders here. Oh, shoot. I don't care about Peoria. Best lines down there. Thank you. I can show you my sliders here. But basically, game speed... Well, okay, hang on. This is actually a neat little glitch where you have to go back and forth. Yeah, cool. Okay, so game speed is a little slower. Fatigue is a little higher. Skating is a little less controllable. There's going to be a couple of attribute effect. 5 out of 10. Up more, down more. We'll go up a little bit. New edit. All right, we'll try that. I don't see that hurt anything. I will say, and again, you might judge me for this or not, but there are a couple of things where, like, pass accuracy, I hate that thing where the AI just tape to tape to tape to tape to tape to tape passes. I hate that. And so a lot of the, like, yeah, I know. And so a lot of, like, those kind of things, it's a little bit in my favor. Yeah, it's a nightmare, and it's not realistic at all, right? Because that's not how hockey works. You watch hockey for 5 minutes. No one is that perfect. So yeah, I think the goalies get a big boost too, where everybody is like, the computer's goalies are at a 75 right now. My goalie is at 100, and that's just so they can't just snipe me into non-existence, right? Everything else I think is pretty fair. And I've been testing this a little bit, and it seems to produce some pretty good games. And we have the difficulty adjustment. If it seems like I'm steamrolling when I shouldn't, then, we'll bump that up, and we'll play with things as we go. But for now, that's what we're looking at.